All right, y'all. Another episode of Faith in Homebuying. Thank you for the second. Thank you for tuning in and staying with us for the second part or to what we're talking about today. And ultimately, it is how do you keep a balance between your faith and also, your business? Because there's some people that do. There's a lot of others that just don't. We're noticing that there's people that actually do care a lot what people have to say. And before we get into the message, I always want to give just honor for those that are on. So Audrey, Leah, talk about who you are, how you can reach you, so that if people want a great lender and they want a great agent over there in Cali, specifically the Sacramento area, how they get a hold of you. So go ahead, Audrey.
Oh, sure. So, and thanks so much again for having me on here. So you guys can always find me on social media, Hutton_mortgage_team for Instagram, or you can give us a call, 408-426-8755.
Yeah, and Leah?
And I am Leah Barraza, and the best way to get a hold of me is text. So 916-879-4435, or you can follow me at Leah_momentum. And I obviously pay attention more to DMs too as well. So
Instagram. No, we'll talk about what we have going on too, because I want to give some space to that, because there you have some great things going on. You just had something that went on, but let's get back to the conversation. So in talking about faith and how it affects your business, name an instance, or actually talk about an instance if you can, that shaped, maybe from a positive or a negative, that probably shaped the trajectory of a deal or a transaction. Maybe you're like, you know what, I need to pull back real quick and I need to pray about this. Or, it's someone seeing something that you did and it helped calm their fears or calm them so that they can proceed forward with the transaction.
I got a lot of these. Where do you want me to start?
Anywhere, go ahead. Bring it.
Yeah, the thing that pops into my mind first, and I think this is just kind of still relevant for so many people, is when COVID hit, right? I think when COVID hit, you had lenders pulling back, closing programs like crazy. Everything changed, pricing changed. You had some people pulling out literally in the middle of the transaction. So everything was just completely awry. And you had people's stress levels higher than I've ever seen in my career, right? Because you have this pressure of potential lockdowns that you're hearing what's happening around the world, just so many outside stressors. That was a time that has probably tested me the most in my career, just because we literally had to redo people's loans 3 or 4 times just to catch up with things, with lenders literally going bankrupt in the middle and then pulling back. So, keeping everybody calm during that process and just having the faith that everything would happen the way it needs to. And I'm happy to say, there was probably 2 or 3 transactions that got hit the most. And I think one of them we had during that time frame where we had to deliver some interesting news listing agent, but we were able to get everybody through. We figured out, we problem solved, we kept everybody calm. And that's our job, is to be the calm to the storm, so that way we can be open to the solutions. But yeah, I think that was the biggest test of faith, and everything worked out. I can honestly say nothing that I've ever seen in this industry, everything has always worked out. Even if somebody chose to back out of a deal or a seller canceled, those buyers found the next home and they loved the next home even more. Everything just kind of falls into place the way it should. And that's what we're talking about. These aren't coincidences. So.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think, I always kind of refer back to this because I really, seriously, I think that my perspective in God and life and transactions and real estate has really shifted a lot since meeting Tamika. She has a gift, and I think that it has opened my eyes to see, like, oh, okay, just, be patient and wait in it. There was a time though where there's been a couple times actually that I've been on my knees with the clients in the house to make sure that we get that prayer to bless it and to accept whatever is destined for us in the transaction. So, and those have been, they're memorable. That's That's like everything. And, you know, on one of my panels that I've had, 'cause I do a God in real estate panel every other month, we meet just different speakers I have that are in the industry. And just to hear their testimonies and their stories and the gifts, you know, some people think that a car or flowers or candies or gift cards are like the best gifts. Well, what their testimonies have shown is that the best gift is that prayer, that faith, that thing that you guys are walking in the dark together, and you are leading that client and saying, hold my hand, I got you. Like, don't worry, I know we can get out of this, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, just trust me. And then when you get them to that end of the tunnel and they're just like, oh my gosh, like, you were the guide, you did help me. And that's the greatest, that's better than, you know, the fattest commission check that you can get. Like, there's nothing beyond that, and that's God.
Absolutely. And I just love the examples that you give, that you both just gave. And I can remember, Audrey, you probably remember this, like, even having enough faith for someone who was absolutely scared to go forward. Everything happened, everything was going good, but extremely fearful of taking that next step and it actually becoming reality. And I remember having a conversation with her, and this wasn't even a believer at that. Matter of fact, and I have respect for all, you know, religions. I have respect for everyone. And how she came to me was actually a completely different, religion. I think as spirit guide has said, Tamika's going to be the one to find you a home. And I was like, praise God. And she chose me, not the same religion at all, but that's okay, because I have respect for everyone. You're still a client, you're still someone that needs a home. I know my method on doing things. Absolutely, let's combine methods and make it happen. But I remember she had such fear at the point of us about to sign documents, I think it was, and we were almost at the end. But it was not even just speaking God, it was speaking human, and speaking about the benefits of what it is, and understanding that we're coming from, we've already built that bridge, right? A lot of times you have to build that bridge of love, of acceptance, of trust, and we've already done that. And not even being of the same belief, but being a human and talking about the logistics and the logic of what it means for home ownership for your family. Even though you saw it before with your parents, what they're going through, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same for you. I mean, that spoke volumes to me on how much, as an agent, or people in our professions, that we have to be the light, that we have to guide, and we have to make sure that we are at least one of the positive voices that are coming to their into their minds and into their lives, and coming from a stance of integrity, not just because I want this to close and be done with it, but no, I really want you to know that this is a good opportunity and you should continue to go forward.
Yeah. And it's funny, the minute that you say that, I know exactly who you're talking about. I remember the conversation like it's yesterday. I will never, ever, ever forget that client and that exact conversation, because it was extremely powerful. And that's why I feel super blessed to be in this profession, because it is tumultuous. It is not where you go to your 9 to 5, you check out. When you're at home, you don't worry about things. I mean, people invested in real estate and lending, we are invested. We dream about you. If you're buying a house with us, you're in our dreams. We are consumed the minute we wake up, because
our family know about you.
Exactly. Everybody, yeah, exactly. And it's just, we're completely wrapped up in it. And when, I think that's where we have to be those guiders. And when we know that we see things lining up, and we can see people either step up to the plate and go forward like what God is bringing to them, or if they're going to be fearful and pull back. And sometimes we have to be that guiding voice of like, look, if you walk away from this, you're literally walking away from one of the best things that's being put in front of you. And we have to be that stability. Yeah, super powerful. I'm very grateful to have those conversations, and I love seeing people face that fear and just move forward with it. And then when we talk to them, 6 months, a year later, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I was thinking of not doing that. Yeah, it was tight or it was difficult, but now they're building wealth. Now they look back and they're like, yeah, it's been easy. You just have to get over that hump, just that challenge. Yeah, amazing.
And you mentioned something too about like when people have backed out. It's okay, it's okay. Like, we're not attached to anything. I mean, as soon as you learn to not be attached to anything, then you're the most freest. And not being attached to transaction, not being attached to, the negative, the positive. You're just doing what you're best that you can do to serve these clients.
Exactly. And doing it with an integrity as well. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like, how do you promote that, right? Like in a first meeting of someone. And that's why social media, why it's so important that what you put out there really shows the very thing of who you are, because people will, 8 times, 10 times kind of look at you and then possibly even reach out. Well, that's why it's so important to be the same way on camera as you are off camera. Speaking of which, we only have about 1 minute, y'all, to go, but I do want to give a little bit of a platform. Leah, what do you have going on with God in real estate? So anyone in the Sacramento area and surrounding would be a client to come.
September 29th, we have our next event. Honestly, I have my three speakers on panel. I don't know where we're going to have it at, so just hit me up, because everything is really I'm just very, very obedient right now to where I need to be at. And so you have to be adaptable in regards to living life too as well. So that's kind of where that's at. And then I do a momentum. We're going to have a Friendsgiving event. Just if you're a believer in, women empowerment, specifically moms. And we're going to do a Friendsgiving event November 3rd. Audrey, would love for you to be there. And it's going to be amazing.
Audrey, anything big coming up?
Well, we're actually picking up our book club again. We're picking up some events that we stopped when COVID hit. So book club for our realtors. If any realtors are listening, feel free to join. We'll send out the information, but also, just reiterating, there's a lot of movement right now. So we lend in all 50 states. Definitely reach out to Tamika and Leah if you guys are just needing information. That's huge right now and one of the biggest things that we're promoting.
Absolutely, y'all. And so thank you very much for joining us. Again, Faith in Home Buying, equipping people with faith in the home buying process. And last but not least, understand your girl is going to be speaking at an event, What's Next for Real Estate. And believe it or not, it's going to have a God shift to it. I'm excited about it. It's going to be November 5th. October, 5th and 6th in San Diego. So just check my Instagram. You'll see a whole lot of information from that. I'm excited to bring God in real estate. So thank you, everyone. Faith in home buying, equipping people fit for the home buying process.